So here are my quick. I think the thing that Xbox that stands out to me the most is just all of the friends that I've made through Xbox, and not only made or connected with, but just kept us together. I feel like Xbox is the one thing that is, as sad to say, like as we get older, but it's what keeps us together, and it's a very awesome social aspect. Like obviously we do this podcast too, but that's not the same as gaming with your boys. And I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity to be able to play with my friends, because I feel like as you get older with kids and responsibilities and everything, like you just don't have much free time to do something you want to do. And then to be able to do it with other people and not take away time with your family. Like we all are fortunate to have a little bit of time at night. Thank you to Bogus for staying up late tonight to do this. Like, so I just want to shout out to Xbox. Like it's the big social element for me in my life, and with all my friends. So all of my memories really stand out to me are playing Halo, like Chance said, LAN parties in high school, the Halo 2 launch in college, getting my 360 in college and playing nonstop Halo 3 and Call of Duty, meeting Miggy at CU. Shout out to Miggy.
I got to meet
We played
Miggy in
so
Vegas.
much.
That was the first time I met him at my bachelor party. And, been
Exactly.
boys
Like,
since.
I
It's good.
remember that. Yeah.
meeting Miggy, like this online entity, and then having him meet you guys in real life. Yeah, I met him.
And that
at
British
CU.
dude.
We worked
Who
together.
was that British dude's
Yes,
name?
I'm gonna get to that. I'm
Okay.
gonna get to that. So meeting Miggy. Well, we worked together, but we played so much Call of Duty 4. Miggy, shout out to Miggy. He was like ranked like top like
beast mode.
25 or something in Call of Duty 4, and then in Battlefield even higher. Like he's insane. And then moving into like the young adulthood, like getting reconnected with Chance and Jose, meeting Bogus at Bear Creek, getting him into Xbox. I'm pretty sure into Mass Effect. Did I introduce you to Mass Effect, JBiz? Oh, okay. Well, we had that in common. But
Yeah, we had in common, but you did get me into online gaming. I mean,
The
I would not have
multiplayer,
gotten
yes.
into multiplayer without you. So
to be fair, though, Bogus still isn't big in multiplayer, and he still isn't big into first-person shooters. He just likes to game on his own, like Bubble Boy. But continuing on to that, so yeah, one of the most fond 360 memories I had, and this is a wild story, is me and my brother were playing Battlefield Bad Company. We were on a map. We were destroying the team on Rush, and all of a sudden, it's just me and my brother and one guy left. This one guy wouldn't leave, and we were just trolling him, killing him. And then it got to the point where like we're just walking up to each other and like, teabagging each other and laughing and doing funny things. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how, but oh yeah, he invites us to his party. And so me and my brother were like, oh, okay. We joined up, and he's like, oh, you guys are killing me. And with this funny accent, with this Prosby accent, we find out that this guy lives in Italy. He's a young guy, just gaming, loves Battlefield as much as us. We start talking, really get to know each other, start playing online with him every night in Bad Company. And then we establish this friendship online. And maybe like a few months later, he's like, hey, I want to visit Colorado. I'm a huge fan of South Park and Casa Bonita and all this stuff. He's like, can I come hang out with you guys? And we're like, sure, we'll pick you up from the airport. So sure enough, this guy, Alex, shout out to Prosby, flies from Italy. We pick him up. We'd never met this guy. Didn't know who he was. Barely, saw him on Facebook. He comes to Colorado. I remember we took him to the airport. He passes out because he had such bad jet lag. He brought his Xbox, which was cool too, because we could still game together at the hotel. We show him around Denver. We took him to Mile High. We did the Mile High or whatever it was. I don't even know what it's called. Empower Field at Mile High now. We took him to a Rockies game. Took him up to CU Boulder. Took him to South Park. What's the real town? I don't even know what it is.
South
But we
Park.
took him to. No, it's After. Is it Granby? No, it's not Granby.
Outside of Bailey, right?
It's some town, yeah, up in north of like in the valley over there by Buena Vista. It might be somewhere over there. Anyway, we took him to, and sure enough, have you guys? I guess you haven't been there. There's like a sign saying, "Oh, South Park, Colorado," but
No,
took him
up
there.
285. It's
Yeah, it's up
literally
285,
down
yeah,
the
exactly.
street from Bear Creek if you want to take it.
Well, down a long street, yes, you're right. Take 285 for a long ways, and you'll get to South Park, Colorado. Took him to Casa Bonita, and that just shows like how we formed this incredible friendship with a guy that we would have never ever met in our lives, thanks to Xbox and the online community. So, shout out to Xbox in 20 years, and I hope we get to experience 20 more and many more after that. It's crazy to think about. I'm glad that we're doing this Xbox podcast, you guys. I wish we would have started it earlier. We probably could probably could have had a bigger audience if we would have been one of the first to jump on this. Especially 'cause I remember teaching podcasts back, guys, when I was at that horrible alternative high school that I used to be at with my first year teaching.
Elizabeth.
Man, I should have jumped in then. In Elizabeth, yeah, but Frontier High School. And I remember the kids were like, what's a podcast? What? I'm like, oh, you just record yourself talking? I don't know what it is. Just do this assignment. And so I wish we would have gotten this early, but shout out to Xbox. Those are some of my favorite memories. And here I'm wearing my 20-year shirt in celebration. Do you guys have any other fond Xbox memories that you'd like to share that maybe I triggered there? Or do we want to close out like we always do?
Just the last thing I want to mention that I've really come to appreciate doing this podcast more, and of course gaming, is like, I don't know how you guys feel, but as I got into my adult life, it was never shame is not the right word. I've never been ashamed of gaming or being nerdy. Like, I've owned it as a badge of pride, but it did for a while feel like it was getting less and less acceptable from just like the public. And, you know, like when you're dating, trying to like find a wife, generally, like, you don't bring that up. Like the first date, you don't want to know what my gamer score is, like that. You know, we joke about that, but that it was kind of like taking the back seat. And so I really have appreciated what gaming has done, because I love gaming. I've loved it since I was a little kid, and it just feels, it's really nice to see that in this modern world it's evolved to the point where like successful, very wealthy, cool people game. And we were always cool, to be fair, but you know, it's just, I love that it's much more acceptable. And even as one quick note, a pride point for me at school is it's a really nice way to connect with kids. And even literally this morning, I was dealing, unfortunately, with the situation with the kid that was not great. And a student was not being very talkative. And one thing I mentioned something about gaming. I don't know how it came up. And I was like, he mentioned Battlefield. That's what it was. And I was like, oh, 2042, did you play the beta? And he you could see it in his face. It was like, oh my God, he knows. And we literally spent like 20 minutes talking about gaming and what he loves to do. And by the end of it, he was like totally open. And the other adults in the room were like, I feel like you're speaking a foreign language that I know nothing about. But it's a really, truly a great unifier, and something that we're all really grateful for today. So I'm grateful for everything that we've had with Xbox and with all systems.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. Like, gaming is for everybody. I'm so glad you said that. It really is. And hold on, Bogus. Let me just really quickly say, like, Jose, you're right though. I understand what you're saying about that shame. Like, it's not shame. Like, I've always loved gaming. It's always been a part of my life. But I feel like even a little bit with Allie, you know, or girls I've dated for, they just don't get it, right? It's because we're passionate about it. Like, that's just been our lives forever. And it's hard to explain, but like, not everyone has to get it though. You know, like, that's how I've always kind of felt. But at the same time, I do feel you're right. Gaming today is at a much different spot than it was when we were in high school or when we were in college, or even like the last generation. Like, it is mainstream now. Like, it is a huge part of like everybody. Like, there's so many, like, I hate to say this, but there weren't very many that I at least knew of, like, girl gamers. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds bad, but like that's not the case anymore. Like you said, like, oh, you didn't want to tell a girl. There are girls now, if we were dating, if we were younger, you know, like, oh yeah, I love, like, can you imagine if you met a girl who was like, yeah, my gamer tag is this, I've got 500K gamer score. Like, we only dreamed of like those situations, but that's happening now, you know? And so I think I'm glad, and I'm just happy that we're finally at that space, but it's sad now, like, thinking about it right now. Like, it took a long time to get here, and we're still not like completely there yet. People are not, like you said, you were talking to that student, like to me and you and to this kid, like, yeah, this is normal talk for us. But like, older people are like, what is he talking about? He sounds like I don't know. You know what I mean?
And
right?
and you know, it's crazy you mentioned it. I know, Bogus, you want to say something too. You said 20 years from now. Can you realize in 20 years we could have all of our kids on here speaking about this?
God.
Isn't that crazy? Like, that's just crazy to think. And they'd be like, they wouldn't be this age that we're at now, but close. That's insane,
Yeah,
man.
they're probably gonna hate gaming.
No, they won't. My daughters love it already.
That's what I can't wait for, is when my daughter's
be able
old
to game
enough,
with
because
them.
obviously I crush her right now, but like when she can
Just
play
barely.
legitimately, and still crush her, right? Like, get some of those perfect shots. I'm sorry, babe, you know. And by that time, we'll like be doing it just with our brains and our eyes and stuff. But I really, really can't wait for that. So
That'll be a proud dad moment. The first time they beat you in a game, you'd be like, I'm not even mad. Just give me a hug.
Yeah, we'll just let them because my kid's never going to beat me. Go ahead, Bogus. We love gaming. We just love gaming here.
Yeah,
This is a great
yeah.
segment, by the way.
Well, and you guys, you took both of mine, because the two I was going to mention was being in education. It's just, there's not a quicker way to connect with your students. Not that all of them game, but most of them can relate. And so I was talking to one of my kids the other day, and they asked me. They said, well, are you an Xbox guy or a PC, PlayStation guy? I mean, that was the first question. So we talked about it, and talked about which one was better. And it was, this was a kid who I barely knew. It wasn't one of my own students, but kind of the same thing. Passed him in the hall, got into a little bit of trouble, and then started talking to him, right? And boom, gaming. So, and then the other thing I was going to say, because I am lucky enough, to have a kid just a little bit older than you guys, your guys' kiddos, but my 9-year-old Riley, she's really gotten into gaming and she loves it. And so we play Fortnite together, and I suck at Fortnite, but I still can beat her. So she always gets mad when we play the 1v1. And she plays it all the time, and it's getting close. Like, I can see that the rain is ending. The rain's gonna end here probably, and unless I decide to get in there and put some hours into it, she is definitely gonna be able to beat me.
And then
here
that's
in
when you
about
just
another
bust
year.
out some old Mario Kart.
That's
and be
right.
like, I will
That's right.
always be your daddy.
That's right. That's right. So those are the big two, man. It's just incredible as a parent and as an educator, being able to connect with kids is just really, really cool. And you're getting to do something you love, right? You're not having to go do something that you feel like you kind of just have to do because it's your kid. You get to do something you enjoy. And I don't love Fortnite, but the fact that I get to play video games with my daughter, I mean, that's awesome. And she's in the other room, and I'm in the room, and we're sitting there talking to each other, on the chat. It's just hilarious, It's great. So,
well, great segment, you guys. Why don't you close it off? Final thoughts here.
I was just
Shout
going
out
to say,
20 years of
is
Xbox.
Riley our number 2 fan of Xbox or XRT? Count that out of the list.
Yeah. I've gotten her to listen to just a little bit, but most of the time when I listened, one day actually she drove with me to work at the beginning of the year, and so she was listening to it, and she heard something mentioned. I can't remember off the top of my head. And she said, "Daddy, are they talking about?" I said, "Yeah, they're talking about it." So she started listening, and so she has listened, and she is a fan of the show.
Nice. So thank you guys for that awesome segment.